how and yeah, so let's go ahead and get started with that. If you just give me a quick moment here, let me reset my screens here. Okay. And so yeah, so we're going to go ahead and get started just with letting us know where you're at and how you found out about secret energy. Today is a big special orientation. I'm getting things prepared on this side, so we'd love to hear from you, Wholeness.
Wholeness, everyone. I'll start it off. I'm Raven. I'm here in Austin, Texas, and I've been tuning in to Savon's message since 2015 and progressively onboarding myself ever since. And yeah, I was introduced through a friend, and the frequency of gravity and hit me in a place where I was able to hear the wisdom in a way that was similar to what I was already picking up myself, but I didn't really see it around in my environment. So to be able to have that access, and then the tribe, especially here in Austin, I've had experiences where certain tribe members have come through and experience life in the physical together and continue the builds, watch tribe vibes together. It's been incredible and very transformative. Shows a lot of possibilities and wholeness. Grateful to be here.
Wholeness Raven, this is your brother Luca. I'm in Noblesville, Indiana, and we found Tribe through the Keymaker 2019. So it's great to be present, and we give thanks for the awareness and the message always coming through to wake us up out of our deep slumber, that we are aware of. So wholeness and balanced vibration is Wholeness Tribe.
Wholeness, Luca. This is Kenji dialing in from Dallas, Texas. And I found out about it through the meditations in 2019. And since then, it just kept calling me. And I think I heard one of the Keymaker videos this morning in Eniology. So it's funny that you actually brought that up. And so just going back through those codes, this time and really just dialing in and moving forward. So love to be here. Glad to be here. I'm glad I found home. And so Wholeness Tribe, this is Kenji.
Wholeness Kenji, this is Ashe. I am currently in North Carolina in Rocky Mount. I'm from Philadelphia though. I'm sorry, the camera is off because I have 3 little ones. So I'm like running after them right now. Yeah, I found 7 like years and years ago, of course, which is like the story because he's been at it for years. YouTube University is kind of where I came across it, and just comparing the knowledge and information and everything that's come with him and with the tribe. This is for sure the place that I've resonated with the most. So gratitude for everything that you guys have been doing. I look forward to coming together with more people and building a even deeper tribe. Gratitude, wholeness.
Wholeness.
Toma. I am currently in Costa Rica, Puerto Viejo. I came to know about sacred energy in 2018, and I'm grateful that I was able to find and wholeness.
Wholeness, Toma. This is Ryan here. Found Savon's work back in the white dry erase board days, circa 2011. And man, been checking into the channel ever since, and I'm extremely grateful for the expanded awareness that these teachings and these builds have brought forth to me on a personal level, and how it has resonated outward within my sphere of social connection. So I'm very grateful to be here with all of you, and I'm very grateful for the tribe. Wholeness.
Wholeness.
All right, Wholeness Ryan, Wholeness family. This is your boy Sean. I'm in Los Angeles and found Tribe back in 2011 through our brother Santos Bonacci, who was sharing the code to the Matrix. And that's how I got in and never left. And I'm still here riding it. So wholeness to the family. Big love, wholeness.
Cheer.
Wholeness. So I'm even with Tribe, I think since like 2016, I found you guys. And I was doing ambassador training. And then I stopped doing ambassador training because my finances were a little bit weird. But now that they're back in order, I'm back again to the ambassador program. And I'm glad to be here because I've learned so much. And I've had my ups and my downs, and thankful for this platform to keep me motivated and reminding me of what the goal is. So I'm glad to be here.
All right, family, for those just joining in, we're going to get into the orientation in just a moment. I'm polishing a few final things. There's about 33 of us here in the space today. Of course, this is all about you, but there is going to be a technical tutorial just letting you know what's at your fingertips. We're also broadcasting live on YouTube today because this is, again, a special orientation. We're going to be unveiling some of the new stuff that's going on with Sibyl. And of course, we're going to be going through the ecosystem just to show the status of where things are now. We did an orientation about a month ago. So we've made some substantial progress in that time. So I'm looking forward to unveiling that. And so we're going to take about 5 more minutes. What we're asking anyone here to do is that if you've come into the space and you would like to share just who you are, where you're at, and maybe how you found out about secret energy, that would be awesome. So let's go ahead and get that started, or continue that, I would say.
Wholeness family, this is Melissa from Brooklyn, New York, and I came across Tribe at the end of, well, actually it was the summer of 2021, and just been riding out with the resonating message that has helped me put things into a beautiful, beautiful perspective, and I'm grateful to be here. Thank you. Wholeness.
Wholeness.
On this Tribe, my name is Jonathan. It's my first time speaking in Tribe Vibes, but I've been a part of the mentorship for almost a year now. I learned about secret energy and the homie Seven, and back in 2017. It was the beginning of my personal awakening, so I'm glad that I met Seven so early on. And yeah, I'm grateful to be here today and see all your faces and speak to y'all.
Wholeness, Jonathan. I'm Tiffany Sunshine. I'm currently in my car in front of my job, sneaking out to get a minute of orientation here. I'm in Nashville, Tennessee. I've been tuning in since about 2016. I ran across a video on YouTube, also back in the dry erase board era, and I was just touched, and it made me feel balanced and motivated, and I just felt like it was home. So I actually touched base with another sister here in the area, Miss Lanita Pemberton. She's on the line, and the connection was just different than any other connection. I got chills. Love it. Grateful. So happy to be here. So happy to have this moment to share, and yeah, keep rocking on, Tribe. I'm glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
Wholeness, thank you for being here.
Wholeness, Tiffany Sunshine. I knew that energy felt familiar. So this is Dominic, Big Apple, and just giving thanks for the space. Puerto Rican friend Eduardo from Volleyball Court Central Park put me on to Tetragrammaton. That was the introduction, and it's just been quantum since then. Wholeness.
Wholeness, Tribe.
Oh, go ahead.
I told myself I did not want to do that. I was going to wait. All right, Wholeness, Tribe. I wanted to come in after Tiffany because I'm in the whip too. And I saw Seven on somebody's video. I'm Elijah, by the way, Tribe. Neophyte. I joined the ambassador program, I think last month. I love everything about Secret Energy. I saw Seven on someone else's podcast, and I said, everyone else, like I watched Phil Valentine and stuff like that on the podcast, almost joined his program or school. But then when I saw Seven came on, I was like, dang, he's got it. Talking about the diet, talking about how everyone just likes to talk about stuff but never give any practical advice or answers. So I gravitated towards that, and then the algorithm just took care of the rest. So now I'm doing the breathing techniques and everything through the university, taking it as fast as I can until I can isolate myself and just dive in full force. So happy to be here. Every tribe vibes that goes down and every build is just awesome. The website, everything's just moving at a exponentially rapid pace. So I'm glad to get it while the momentum and the snowball's rolling. Thank you.
On this tribe, I will second everything that my guy just said. I found out about you guys. Well, first off, my name is Kamal. My name is Kamal, means quiet warrior. I found out about you guys actually in a very random way. Somebody commented on my YouTube channel. They just said Secret Energy. That's the only thing they put in the comment. No link, no nothing, and just out of curiosity, I was like, I wonder what they're talking about. So I just looked it up and I found this a couple years ago and I've been like, whoa, this is a whole thing, so I've been really just really grateful to be able to tap in with you guys. I feel like I've been going through my awakening these past couple years. And I feel like this has been one of the most grounded communities out of everything. I do a lot of research, but definitely one of the most grounded communities and most well-rounded, sustainable communities that I see growing. And I really support it. And I'm happy to be here.
It's great to see you brothers in the spot. As my brother was mentioning earlier, he got into this early, so that means that the upgrades are just, this is going to be a consistent thing continuously. Once you hit this point, you're at that perfect peak where everything just can continue to roll so perfectly. I'm going to actually, I'm going to dive in here just really briefly. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and get into this because I feel like that today we got a little bit of lead time. And it has been about 10 minutes. So I think that everybody that's going to join us today inside the space is going to be here. As I mentioned earlier, it is also broadcasting live across other networks. And we're doing that today because we always have orientation about once a month. But we're doing that today because today is a special orientation. It is also a celebration. I had an opportunity to celebrate amongst myself yesterday with just reaching a big time milestone. Like it's incredible, really, what we've been capable of doing thus far. I feel like it would be a really good idea to just kind of recap on that with everyone. So there's no better place than orientation to do that in. But this is a two-part experience. Orientation is predominantly about orientating. And that is also us getting orientated to you. So we do invite new ambassadors here. Let me put this off the screen real quick. By the way, you can get one free image at Dream Engine, according to what is right there with the QR code. If you didn't see that earlier, all the images that you've seen come through actually were cranked from Dream Engine and are available there. Just wanted to let you know that just in case somebody saw something like, yo, where do I get that? It's there. So, okay, first let me just center myself into the space altogether and take a breath. And just bringing the mind here now. Can be in so many places. Yeah, it can be in so many places, but it's needed here the most right now. I probably will get the best of the experience by being here now. I'm, of course, getting the best of the experience because I'm here with you. I'm also in the space with those that are very dear to me, my tribe, the universal, on all spaces and times and all planes and dimensions. This is live. Somebody asks, is this a live one or is this, is this a premium pre-record? This is a live. As you can see, the tribe is here in full effect, giving thanks to also the pillars in the space who continuously come into the orientations and buoy everything up, makes it all comfortable and makes it a real place where we get an opportunity to see ourselves. My daughter said, everyone is you. Everyone is you. According to you, though. And So many words she was saying. So everybody has a vision of what they see other people as. And that vision may not exactly match what the person sees themselves as, which is incredible, right? So that means that we can have multiple views here, multiple angles and dimensions to view ourselves. And so that's really what's happening also, is how people perceive even me lets me understand a bit more about myself. And the more I get a chance to learn about you, because especially the laws of the resonance and the spectrum, then I get a chance to learn yet more about, myself and all the beings that are around me in this. Sometimes it's a universe. Sometimes we're united. There's conflicts definitely around us. Sometimes it's the omniverse. They even got a metaverse out there. So there's a lot of them. And what we do is in every single one of them, we first of all give thanks for them, and we bring in that shine. And I really, really can see that when we first come into this realm, we are stepping into the darkness. So you would actually think that you're coming out into light because there's a sun, but actually you're coming into first just not knowing really what's going on here and what's really happening. And so we get an opportunity to learn that from each other. We get an opportunity to explore this incredible dimension, plane, expanse, etc. And we also get an opportunity to have like a roadmap in that process, because the mentorship is definitely in place. So let me switch on this other camera here. Got another camera on here today. And that's why, we can kind of chill out, because as I said, this today is more about you. It's not necessarily about me, but I am going to glide through exactly what we have going on here in this beautiful ecosystem that we've built. And I trust that all of the fantastic things that you're going to see will come to serve you and bring value into your life. I will say for sure, thanks for those who have been riding out for years. It's always been real just on the one-on-one, the conversations, the builds, the experiences that we've had together. So it's been a continuous upgrade. But I will say anyone jumping into Secret Energy Sovereignty Mentorship right now is like really getting a rocket on their back in most needed time. So for us, it's just about remaining stable and continuously deploying and maintaining also what we have right now to the same quality and the same level that it was in the beginning. Yeah. Also, we got this thing, we call it touching and connecting. It involves these two hands. It's that moment to where we dial in to the feeling, because it's not really the words, it's the feeling. You can definitely make words make you feel some type of way. Somebody say some words to you and you just feel some type of way because of those words. This is also another opportunity to see how that can work a different way, where we can transcend those words and we can just touch into the feeling and agree that what we bought into the space, if we bought some unity, we really did it. Scams, scandals, and all that kind of stuff is just not present here. It's just a vibration of a collective of, look, why don't we just keep it actual? That's even a step beyond real. It's like, I'm real. Well, I'm actual. I'm a player in the game of myself. I'm in action. I'm the leading role inside of my own movie. I'm not an extra, right? And this is the variables in which we stand on together. But we touch and know that every single part of this, why there's a sliding scale of the magnitude of each thing's power. Each part depends on the other. If the pinky toe is tripping, it doesn't matter how big the thigh is, you're going to feel it. And so when everything's working together, then there's more progress. There's more prosperity. And that's what we're about. And we've had to learn that lesson too. Like definitely, I'm coming from, the deep fields of dualities. And I think my camera is a little bit off. I got another camera going on here. So let me switch it up again. So we're coming from the deep fields of dualities. And in every way, I would have to say that, wow, I mean, we've grown so much through this experience. We've grown so much through this dualistic way of seeing things. I call it adversarial. And when we take a moment and we see, okay, inside the duality, we've been able to actually realize the power of unity, then that actually becomes like this peak moment where you want to observe that moment. So, I have to explain, that's what the touching and agreeing is really all about. It's about that moment where you say, well, you know what? Yeah, there's future endeavors. There's things that we want to have. There's things that we want to do and see in ourselves. But what about the moment? Is there a credit board? Like a board that literally is indicating what have you actually accomplished? And that's one of the things that we actually have here. We have a credit board because we know that every time something amazing is done, it's like a newspaper with a good article. You still got to come up with a new article next month. So it's almost like the glory happens for a moment if it's a good article, and now it's time to write a new article again. And this is kind of how we treat life, is like we just see sometimes the things that we're not getting right, the things that we're not doing the way that we expect them to be done. And I find that life is very interesting because the lessons are to us mistakes, but to who we truly are, their wisdom. So when somebody else is judging you and they're seeing maybe your process of getting wise, you got to also realize that what their perspective is going to be. And also, if you have contact with certain people that you feel like you could talk to, it's better to encourage us all, especially in these times when something's really, really happening. You want to find as many people as you can that are going to be able to be real with you and connect with you and be on the level as much as they can. Now, there's another thing is that you shouldn't really expect too much from anyone. You shouldn't put all the weight on other people, because for sure that's not a good way or a great way to build a foundation. You take the responsibility yourself, and then you say, you know what? I'm going to stand in with myself. I'm going to be there for myself. And this means that a lot of even the negative dialogue or distorted dialogue that goes on, it starts to come down a bit. Because you realize it's not great to attack yourself, especially when you are in a world. You are at war. There is an adversarial component to this reality. It's how it learns. It calls itself the natural selection these days, which is how you act, what you do, what you adapt to. All of that, it determines how long you're going to be able to grasp what's going on in this experience fully. So we get completely into it. Total immersion. I like that word. They always say, oh, it's fully immersive. Life is total immersion. And, this is still trying to be replicated. So at the end of the day, we give thanks to everyone. We observe the moments of unity. We say to ourselves, wholeness and balanced vibration. We realize that the great achievement have been reached because we've been able to connect all faces. Let me show it here. 1 second. All faces, all shapes, all sizes, if you may. But it's complete spectrum. It's not one of one thing, more of another. And it's just symbolic. It's that moment in time where it's like, okay, yeah, I get, the hardcore trainer. Like, your mind also has a hardcore trainer too. Some people live with that every day. It's kind of like having David Goggins' Copilot. You know what I mean? And it's just like, you're just going in on yourself. And I was just, I was diving into Sybil, and it was also one of the data sets was saying that's how it loves to train. It loves to train where you're still looking very critically at what you think you believe. I can teach you how to do that. Just so you can come through this really refined, not believing that you're more than who you truly are or less, but actually believing in yourself and your connection with everything. So we take that moment. All is self. Thank you so much, tribe. Wholeness and balanced vibrations. Let's go in. This could be a maxi. I have ideas of a never-ending stream where, it's just like whenever you're ready to dial in, you just kind of dial in, and then you come on, and whoever's on there too, they just riding out. It's the world stream. Okay, here we go. So as I said, this consists of 2 parts, and this 2-part is, first, we get super personal. Then we get a little technical, showing you what's going on inside the platform, and then we're going to hear from you. And when we do hear from you, we're going to ask 3 questions. Now, I am going to do this today because I don't want to have your personal business all out there. When we get into the side where we're going to talk to everyone here that's an ambassador, we will disconnect from the live channels. But I would advise those that are on the live channels right now to dial into this next, what would be probably like 30 minutes of just seeing how the ecosystem is positioned, and just imagine that if you have these tools, this is what you're capable of going at the reality with right now immediately. So not like a manual or something that you read and it says, well, if you start practicing these principles, eventually you'll be able to do X. We're all familiar with that. This is about a quick look, though, into a different type of accoutrement where having it allows you to actually do things now. So let me see here real quick. So we dialed into the space, realizing, of course, that there's no way for us to receive anything if we're closed. So this means that you put yourself into a position of receiving, and that just kind of opened things up, and it just allows everything to come through very clearly. Versus if you put a filter on it, and you have your own doubts and your own ideas, then you know that it could get cloudy. So we have 14 years. Let me just take you into some documentation so you just don't have to see me talking. Let's see where I was at here. I've been having a fun time today playing around with everything on the full moon. That's another thing is, it's just about full tilt out there. Like, when they show those like werewolf things where, the wolf, the full moon is like, ah! I'm pretty sure that's Kundalini they're talking about, because somehow around full moon, the energy is so high. You're just like, oh my goodness, how do I even work on articulation here? All right, so let me get this screen going on right here. But of course, that's what the teaching and the training is about, is how to, breathe. And how to work with lung, which is or long, I just call it LNG. And lung or long is the Chinese word for dragon. And of course, it's a lung dragon because it's breathing. And the fire is Kundalini. So you see how it's like, when you get that these days, like when you get the meaning of some of this stuff, it'd be like, which one is it? So I'm just saying to really restore this advanced consciousness and the knowledge that goes with it is prime. Okay, so here we go. All right, so I got everything put together. Whew. Technical. Let me also spotlight this over here. Let me see. Okay, I'm already spotlighted. Thanks, Sean. All right. Okay, so that's me. And this is probably the only time that you'll see me talking about myself through this whole experience. But I do want to introduce you to the dean of the university, and that is Sybil. And, I guess my claim to fame is the code to the matrix. No, I'm just joking. But it's been 14, 15 years. I don't know. I'm stopped counting at this point. And it's so powerful being on the journey at this stage because you don't really have to say anything. People can just go check it out. So when you're explaining yourself, that's one thing. When the accolades are already there, that's another thing. So I'm just saying at this point, what I've done is I've put together Spirit Text, which is a combination of spiritual technology. We began with the resistance that eventually unfolded into secret energy. It is what I feel is the world's first conscious ecosystem. It has affiliation, it has information, it has gamification. There's nothing that it really missed. It has geolocation. I always feel like those platforms, which are so far ahead of their time, are really going to be infused with all this new growth that we're having. But it's good to say that those things are already built. WealthyBot has been built. We have gone through the trenches. We have empirical data, meaning we have 2-3 years of seeing what this new market called cryptocurrency is like. And we fine-tune algorithms just for that specifically. And we created WealthyBot. And as you can see, even though there was for sure for all of us involved in cryptocurrency, a strong tuition payment, Ivy League. Meaning that if you lost anything, that was your tuition. And then, of course, your chief lesson was never put in more of anything in an investment that you can't afford to lose. So in that process, we gain a level of knowledge about being a bank. And as you can see now, that knowledge is actually coming to serve us. And so we do still train on that. So if you want to know anything about that, there's WealthyBot. And then we have Dream Engine, And now we have Sibyl. So we're going to actually be going through some of this stuff as I'm going through the orientation today. But again, I'm just giving some overview. We put some monatomics together, the first nuclear hybrids, if you may, super deformed nuclear hybrid monatomics, ORMEs, some may call it. This is, to me, the highest level of minerals because of the size of the particle. So we put that together. Fiaqua is one of my pet projects. I'll say it's a water programmer, and I have one, but it never made it consumer grade. We'll revisit, put some stuff together in the hydrogen world also with Hydrolux. There's also the vector equilibriums, the cosmic clocks. So I'm fruitful in the building process and encourage others to do the same. I also did author the code to the matrix when I was in a very, very high state of consciousness, high vibration, which I always do my best every day to maintain. And in that, I revealed secrets and codes to the language that I feel are empirical to really knowing what's going on here. That's enough about me. This orientation is all about you. And there are 3 questions that you can put in your mind and write down. And later on in the build, you'll have an opportunity to actually answer any or all of these questions. And I always copy these questions in the chat. I don't want to touch anything. Maybe somebody else can do it. I know all of this is like, I'm actually working with a live copy. Yeah, so let me not touch anything. Okay. So what motivated you to join Sovereignty Mentorship is the first question. What do you hope to achieve as a member of the tribe? And how do you want to contribute to the ecosystem? Because that is the input-output part of this. So what motivated you to join Sovereignty Mentorship? What do you hope to achieve as a member of the tribe? And how do you want to contribute to the ecosystem, if at all? Also knowing that your presence is more than enough. So let me do this. Let me see. Let me defy rules right now and try to copy and paste this from a live. Boom, it worked today. Okay, we on fire. Okay, yes. No. All right, so let's keep moving through this. So those are the questions that you're going to keep in your mind through this. I'm going to speed through orientation, the technical side, as fast as possible. And then we're going to get into understanding more about you if you choose to speak. Okay, so we're going to start off with the university. So everything that I'm talking about, mentioning today, is actually things you have access to now. For those that are on the other side of things, anybody who has a subscription as an ambassador inside of Secret Energy right now, today, this is what's happening this month. You have access to all the things that I'm going to show you. And yeah, so let's get started. So where we'll start is the Today page. Now, once you become a member or ambassador, as we use the term, once you become an ambassador, then the first thing that you're going to have access to is the Today page in the university. And so here you're going to see the upcoming events. Actually, I always do that. I love to start the top down and not speed off. But the first thing is that if you're looking for something or searching for something across the site, you'll always see one of these big search bars here. And they're tied into a lot. They're even tied into videos that I've made in the past and stuff. So if you're just kind of looking for like certain information right away, you can always hit this search bar. The live events, which is getting crunk around here, like I have to say, there's always something going on. But the live events that I see right now on the calendar are just incredible. And you can also see what's going to happen too with the same area. And so obviously orientation was today, and as you can see, it's there. And then we have Tri Vibes, which is going to happen in 2 days. We got Dream Tech, which is lucid dream training with my brothers Finn. And then we have the Creators Club, where it's creators gonna create, ballers gonna ball. Nah, okay. So creators gonna create in the Creators Club. And, that's the time and opportunity for anyone that's got that communication thing popping to come in front of the tribe. Let us know what's going on, what's happening with you. And then we have Cosmic Law also. And we have the Sisterhood, which, I was actually putting up here in just a moment. But there's a lot that's actually going on in Secret Energy. So it's just not me. It's all of us. And that's the great part. You also have recent events. And this is, of course, once we do Tri Vibes or a show or something, and you're wondering where it's at after it's been post-produced, then you will find it here. And then all of the courses that are available to you, which are the classics, like just hard body, esoteric knowledge, step-by-step, the real deal, you will actually find, if you started a course and you didn't finish it, you'll find the continue here. And then, of course, there are all the courses that you have access to. That's the university. This is where you get all your information on that And you have to do all of this inside your, I was just making sure course time because I'm going to have this video up. And you have this emails that you join.
Brother, real quick, just so you know, we need to flip the imagery on you. It's showing
Yeah,
up
I noticed
backwards.
that. Let me see real quick if there's a mirror function.
Yes, some kind of mirror function there.
Yeah, let me see that. I don't know why they changed that. Bloop, whoop. Woo, I'm on fire today. Look, you would think I worked there. All right, so hopefully that fixed things out. I know that was weird. See, that's what was throwing me off earlier because I'm literally seeing like the reverse of myself on one, and then but I was cool with it. Though. I was like, it was. That's also it caused like there was some kind of voice delay too, and I was like, all right, I'm trying to focus here, but I'm seeing like 3 different versions of 7 from 3. You know, just old news. You know what I mean? So here we're going.
We should be good, man.
We're good. Okay. So our simple PowerPoint here so that we can stay on track. Okay, so we were talking about the university. We showed the courses. There's also some certifications happening in there. I'm not going to really show that. You'll see all this inside of orientation documents. And so you could go through the university, you can get certified in certain things, and you can learn more about eniology, the cosmic law, yoga, detox, etc. It's all there. Also, inside of the ecosystem, we have, okay, so this is real search. Give me one quick moment.
What's everybody, 7 here. We're just going to take a quick look at.
Excuse me. You have access to, because we'll be just going over what I just told you. You have access to this documentation inside of your onboarding, and it is going to take you through pretty much the process, except for some of the new stuff that I'm going through right now. So if at any point that you feel like that you missed something or I'm going too fast, you can always go to this exact document and it's given to you. And then this document is going to explain search, recent events, upcoming live events, my quest, and all this is on that page that we were looking at before, and all this is involved in the university. It's going to also show you how to get your certification after you pass things, et cetera. So all that's laid out, just in case I'm, going too fast over this. I wanted to now move on to communication. Yes. Okay. So that's today. Okay, great. Okay. So we're moving on. So to communication here. And communication is a big part of what we have going on here, because we need to make sure that at certain points that we're all kind of cohesively going through this process together. We engage in different ways, as you know, every day. So there's the WhatsApp, but primarily we have the Geneva. And I'm just going to show that here really briefly. And this is the chat that we're actually using. We've tried a lot of stuff in the past, including Discord, and WhatsApp just kind of got too big, too crazy, especially for what we're doing. We need to keep data. We need to keep stuff in line for you. So you have access to the Geneva app. It's also on your phone. It's on any device. And what it does is it gives you access to first the general room. So you'll be able to link up with all the tribe members here. And this is just on that more or less private side, only ambassadors. And then you'll also be able to get information about how to go through certain processes. Like there's a start here. And then also you would join your element tribe here. And element tribes we realize that each person is coming in for pretty much sometimes something different. We were able to put that into 4 categories. We have the air tribe, and that's, I really fly alone. I'm looking for the top. Point me to it. I'm not trying to really talk to anybody right now. That's the air tribe. Fire tribe is, look, I'm about that life. I really, really need to burn something right now. I got a month, or you got a month, or I'm out of here. And that's, money, health, getting better, losing weight, that kind of thing. We have the water tribe. That's communication. When you're ready to do, what I'm doing now, that oration to let it flow, that's where that happens. And then on the earth, where things get started, that's where you're coming in and you're saying, look, it sounds great, like a sci-fi movie. I really need to know about this, but point me to where I should start. And that's what's going on in the earth tribe. You also have subsequent groups that are here, such as the sisterhood group. Actually, that's on the private side. There is the children's group. There's also the library. There's also the marketplace where you can share things that you're working on. There's a Dream Tech group, Creators Club. There's something for children here, or parents that are actually raising children consciously. And then there's the detox group. So in here is the comms, if you may, of ambassador training, and where you just get the direct information about what we're doing inside the ecosystem and connecting with others there. But also remembering that since this is an app, it does take an extra step to go in and communicate. And what we saw overall is that we needed something that was still more of in line with where everyone is all the time, like things that you would already use. So we do also have a WhatsApp group as a component. And that's just always been our existing tribe also. So that's a cool group that if you're already using WhatsApp, then you can kind of keep in touch with everybody and see what's going on by just having that WhatsApp there too. So that's comms. There's also support. And let me just pop that up here. On the bottom of all of our websites, there's always going to be a as you can see down here in the bottom right down here. And you can always pop this in, and if you have something that you need to know about, like a technical issue or whatever, you can always hit us up here. And this is live. Sean will probably get back to you, or I'll get back with you. But this is across all of our sites. So if anything becomes like over technical or you can't find it, make sure you remember that there's live communication there for somebody to walk you through whatever you're dealing with. And, I believe that summarizes communication. Let me look at this again. Also, of course, we have documentation. So there's lots of documentation on everything that we're creating. I always see things as black and white first. And a lot of times I have to explain this to other people. So I'll create documents on everything, like right now, which we'll look at here in a moment. But Sibyl has already got documentation where you can even start seeing examples of questions sent to Sibyl and the answers that were received because of those questions. You'll also get information just in general about, any kind of disclaimers or anything that you're dealing with technically. But that documentation area at support.secretenergy.com, if you want to remember it, it's just support.secretenergy. You will find documentation on all the products, the applications that we're building, Dream Engine, anything that you can think of that we've built and have in the site, Eneology, et cetera. There will be some type of written documentation. So if you're somebody that just likes to read and that's how you want it, then that's where you'll find it. So also, let me pop back up on the screen here. So we got some policies in place and things like that. So all of our documentation is replete, and you have what you need to look through if you want to know just fine details about something specifically. Let's see. We have also, okay, so this is actually a full overhead view of Secret Energy itself. And so let me just kind of remove myself out of here real quick. And so, as I mentioned, the platform has been here now for approximately, I would say 11, 12 years, something like that. And we've been here on this very singular focused mission, and we've gotten very far. And it's about the empowerment and upliftment of anyone who's ready for it. And what we've been doing is, I won't say we've been testing it, but we've definitely been observing how it doesn't really matter what walk of life you're coming from, it works. And because I've actually seen it work, and I know many beings that have been able to empower themselves on it, I'm always gung-ho about getting this to others because it does work. So it's kind of different. Like I read a lot of spiritual books, and maybe only a few people even follow this tradition. And there's not much information about how much it really allows you to, progress in the society that you're currently in. Secret Energy is totally different than that. It has all of the information to explain and show, and all of the proofs that, hey, this process of making yourself the central being, inner stand, and removing all this external gods and all this kind of stuff just to really, really get into yourself is been phenomenal compared to a lot of the other systems that are available. So that's what we're about. There are, at this stage, about 40,000 core members of Secret Energy. We have thousands of videos on the internet, as our sister was saying earlier. She's from the YouTube University, right? And of course, we have lots of publications and posts and millions of impressions across the internet as, the message just continues to flow through. There's always something new. But I've just found that it's remarkable that many of the things that we first started saying, we are still in alignment and enhanced to those things. So the progress has been, it's just been beautiful. And I would say for sure that has been predominantly based on how it began. Like if you begin certain things with certain intentions, it's proof that no matter what really happens years later, you'll find that those intentions still hold within what you're doing if it was strong enough, right? So we have Enealogy, and Enealogy's got a massive upgrade. Like we're so fresh on the upgrades. We're only about 2 days really in putting upgrades in everybody's hands, really. But Enealogy just got a massive upgrade, and soon there won't be the other Enealogy that is available inside of Secret Energy now. It'll be merged into the new Enealogy, which is 100% conversational and knows so much. But just for the record, we have Enealogy inside the platform, which is our way of actually looking at or allowing you to look at the uniqueness of yourself and also those that are around you, being able to really see that there's already been a system in place that really does tell 70% of pretty much what a person is up to, their demeanor, their temperament, etc. And what this allows us to do is really understand. It's a power communication tool. And as I said, when something happens to you from someone, and then you take the time to really just research their energy, you will actually see why they did what they did to you. And so again, I believe that it's a powerful communication tool because you can also learn how to deal with situations and know what to expect. There's also incentives built inside the platform. We're going to be enhancing this a bit. So as of now, we do have ohms. It's gamification inside the platform. It's our way of recognizing those who are moving through. This is different than affiliation. Gamification is getting rewards for sharing materials that are in the platform, even purchases, lots of stuff that we put actionable points around. We're going to be kind of enhancing the gamification process. We're going to be moving it into Dream Engine. I think we're going to start to relieve Secret Energy of the gamification just because of the architecture and how much intensity it takes to run a gamification inside a platform the way that SE is built. But it will be metamorphosized into something also that we would see that others would get more engaged in. But in the process, I think I spent a year on gamification. This means huge charts. Like if you ever seen like video games, there's gamification, of course, behind the scenes. This is like, how many things do you need to do to get this reward? What happens if you collect this object? And it's very interesting because it gets you into this deep level of not only storytelling, but also making the story make sense, even from a numbers level. So gamification is something that we feel is important because it incentivizes everyone inside the platform and gives them visibility. And this just means that if you're doing something, it's still important to know that the platform is also is reciprocating that, like, okay, we see you. And that's what gamification is really about inside of Secret Energy. So it's actually up for a facelift, but as it is, ohms is in place and it's happening. Many people don't know that you actually can go to Secret Energy for the first time and you'll get 360 ohms and a little bit more from some other stuff. And you already can start buying products because ohms are exchangeable for goods inside the store. So that's what's going on with that. We also built unobtrusive marketing, and this is like my first run at animation. Great, right? But we have unobtrusive marketing, and unobtrusive marketing is a way of actually rewarding those who are actually sending others to the platform through any kind of link that is in the platform. So this just means you'll find different areas inside the platform where there's actually this button. I don't know if I want to mess with this. I should have got on. Let me just do this. Let me do this. Yeah, because that's dangerous what I'm doing. Like I could, let me just do this and ease up the process for myself. Also, I will share this link now. And, somebody may want to share it also inside of YouTube. Just as, you could check it out. You could, see it all. And let's see here. I think I use this to skip through it. Okay, great. All right, that works. Okay, so now I'm not like touching anything, and it also makes it easier for me to just do this. Okay. All right, so unobtrusive marketing. So what was this about? And, of course, what is it about? Because it still works. And it's basically saying, okay, look, so in theory, what happens is that the whole thing with what they call that, MLM or commissions and all that kind of stuff, it's not a bad idea. However, it's oftentimes poorly executed. Now, remember, Amazon does this. And pretty much half of the YouTubers are somehow Amazon affiliates, right? They just share links to products and they get the money from Amazon. So the whole affiliation thing, it is always been big, but MLM does for sure give it a bad rap. And I believe it gives it a bad rap also because it's like, you literally, especially if you kind of like know about MLMs, all your friends are kind of used to you bringing them a blender or something. Like, yo, try this blender. But no, it's just like it gets to become this engagement after a while for some where they feel like that you're always trying to sell something to them. And then so they just kind of put in their mind anything they're trying to sell is just another organization that, you know, they've joined up with. And so I recognized that, I saw that, and I said, well, what if we made it unobtrusive? And unobtrusive means that you don't even really perceive it that way or see that going on. So when somebody shares a link, sure, share and earn links, which I show as an example here, are on products. And if you click this link, it will automatically share it to these social media networks with your affiliate link embedded in it already. But this share and link button is also available on all posts. So you can share knowledge, and then if somebody comes to the platform and reads that knowledge, and then somewhere in the fun journey, they make a financial transaction, we'll give you credit for that. And I just think that that's an awesome way to keep it on point. And then also, because you're not just sharing links to products, you have a really, really unique way of creating what I call the passive aggressive income, because it does start really churning, and you're just bringing others into the awareness of mindfulness. So that's gamification, and then that's affiliation. So let me see, how do I get to my next page here? Okay, there it is. See, that's why I wanted to be in the master one. So there is also Wealthy Bot, as I mentioned earlier. I'm not going to get too deep into this right now because, of course, we do have some simple stuff that I want to talk about. It's prime time. But again, that whole getting orientated with crypto and then just allowing this thing to trade for you is, at this stage, it's never been so sweet. These charts right now, this up and down, sideways, I don't know if I'm in, I don't know if I'm out, which is what's happening in the crypto space right now. This system just eats that alive. And the great part about this is you can run a simulator for free. So if you just want to see, hey, is this going to work? You use basically this eCash, which is like fake cash, but it'll trade it just like it's a real trade. And then you get a chance to watch it and see, hey, is this thing really going to make money before I put money into it? So for me, in the world that I live in, I like everything that I deal with to have that option. Let me see what it does, and then I'll make a decision if I want to use it or not. This is another thing that I wanted to announce even with Sibyl, is that we're going to open up a free plan the moment that we can get the integration in, so that people can go in, try it out, and see if it brings any value into your life. So this is how I believe that things should be created. This is how I believe that what people would be looking for in the near future, especially based on many of the things that we're going to see continue to take place inside of this quote unquote reality. I also wanted to finalize there, this tribe, team, family. Like, there are many beings that are engaged in this process of growth with us, including myself. And, you know, I just want to, there's many beings that should be here also. Like, I would just keep building this. I may put somebody in charge of just keep adding faces. I think we can put all of our faces here. But of course, these are the people that are working directly with the project and actually really about that life. Like, every single day, we really are going in, building what it is that I'm showing you. So let's go ahead and get into the nitty gritty, because I know some probably dived in today, you know, just to see, you know, what's up with Sybil, what's up with the clickbait on my video. Everything has received an upgrade, as I mentioned, and Sybil, that is no different. We've now, and I'm continuously building on this page, by the way. Let me move myself out of the way here. So we're still continuously building on this page. And so what is here is all of the direct documentation about Sybil. And we've even added that area, which I showed you just a moment ago, where we're sending sample questions to Sybil, and we're showing the sample question, we're showing the answer. Okay, so this is where you can kind of gauge how deep can this go. And I would say, for the record, and that's why yesterday I had my own little celebration. I was like, you just have to admit, though, like, this thing, it goes deep. Like, it's not one of those things where If you know how to ask a real question, you'll just be like, oh, well, of course. Oh, well, I would have got the answer. Or you'll just be like, tell me more. But I believe that personally, from me to you, we may not even be aware of how powerful this creation is. Our sister Michelle I was talking to, she mentioned that today, and I just said that kind of works across the board. And maybe sometimes it's important because, we got to keep grinding out. We got to keep going. And sometimes if you just get too elated in what you created, it's just like you get stagnant within that. So it's sometimes not as great to know the magnitude of what you created exactly, but I just know in my heart and my consciousness, of course, the intentions and the output, because I'm used to seeing everything. As many know, I've read thousands of books, in my process of turning them into audio and listening to them while I'm at the gym. And so I know really the cutting edge of spiritual knowledge versus, just that same repetitive stuff. And what we've been able to build here and what we've been able to train with these models, I call them supermodels, is incredible. And it's only getting stronger. I also will mention that we beta tested this morning multilingual, and it looked great. This just means that now we're branching into 20 different languages. And when a person types into Sibyl in that language, it then types back the answer in that language. And it's incredible. So that, to me, this is a game changer. So that's what I was saying. We may not know how big this is, but we're building on this. There's some new stuff coming. There's a brand new UI. So yeah, as you can see, I'm excited. So if you jump in here, you'll be able to get more information. If you're still, just like, let me understand more of this. I've written up some stuff, as I mentioned last, what was that? I think that was office hours. I mentioned that you can go in here and get a general overview of what each model can do and maybe its use case, like what you can use it for. However, I will also mention that inside of that same documentation that I was showing earlier, what I've done is I've also placed this standard question that we ask a model. And so what I'll do sometimes when we're building a model, just to kind of understand where it's at. And we do have disclaimers around a lot of the stuff that we're doing now because it's really about accuracy. You put in junk, you get junk back. So we always are really refining whatever it is that we're training on. And I'll mention some of the stuff here just in a minute that we're encountering, which is very interesting. But I just want to mention, so we have a way though of analyzing how far the model is along on what we're trying to teach it. And maybe this is also a way that we can even assist our children by asking them these type of questions. Like, I'll tell the model to give me a description of the world a detailed description of the world that it's living in. I'll tell the model to tell me what it specializes in. That's a classic question, right? So what I've done is I've asked that question, what do you specialize in, to every model, and I've left the answer here. And this is, of course, where the model then is telling you what it's really capable of doing. And that's another way of sometimes if you're just in front of that prompt and you're like, okay, what am I doing? What am I trying to do here? You can always ask the model, what are you capable of doing? And maybe that sparks some stuff off. But I would also think about putting this in line with your productivity. Like if you're already doing stuff on Instagram with consciousness, if you're already creating videos and episodes of different things, this is going to upgrade things on a quantum level. And so that's what we're also doing here is we're progressing through our awareness together. So that way everybody is really on that same page. And as I said before, if we could do that in Spanish or Espanol, if we could do that in Portuguese, if we can do that in Chinese, that it's going to be ripple effects. And that's what I would say. Just 10 years in maybe, or 5 years, you would eventually have more beings in the world that were just really, really awake and really, really aware and dialed into themselves. So here's the question. Here's the answer. I'll just read it out real quick. So I asked the Oracle, what do you specialize in? You can do this also. And then the quick response. So I say, because remember, everything that you say is just going to follow your instructions. So there's one that's, what do you specialize in? And then there is, what do you specialize in? Tell me in more detail. And so it will respond to anything that you tell it. And as you can see here, it gave me more detail. So in this simple response says, I specialize in working with herbs and understanding the human body and connecting with and connecting with the spirit world. I use this knowledge to heal people often through the guidance of the spirits. I also have training in Western medicine, which allows me to understand the human body structure more deeply. My expertise lies in combining these various areas of knowledge to provide the best possible care for those who come to me for help. So I asked her to, give me some more details on that. I specialize in metaphysical wisdom and occult practices, particularly in the areas of tradition, both native tradition and Western medicine. By connecting and communicating with the spirit and work various herbs and their effects on the body and its ailments. I have a primary focus on spiritually treating individuals with bad blood and other diseases. I do so in conjunction with my knowledge of spirits. Additionally, I strive to educate others in these practices so that they can carry on the knowledge and help even more people. My approach to medicine and healing is highly individualized as I take the time to work with each person and tailor their treatment to their specific needs. Okay, so there's a lot there, and I won't elaborate just how deep what is being brought forth here, but just at the surface level, that awareness that many of our ancestors had that diseases and ailments are connected to spirits. And really what that again summarizes into is that there's energetic fields, if you may, just to simplify it. You can call them like barnacles, and they sometimes do attach to different parts of the, and that cause certain ailments within that chakra. So, of course, the ancients were like, okay, this is a spirit, and we need to understand how to deal with that spirit in relation to this disease. And many of the ancients witnessed that people who were kind of infected with these spirits kind of brought in strange diseases. So, again, a lot there. And you can have it go further on any of those topics and say, tell me more about X. And it's just going to keep going deeper. It's going to give names. You can tell me more about that. And again, that's the part of this that within 1 month, so how our system is also training now is that it's just going to continuously get more and more refined, more and more intelligent, and more vast. And so, but this is where we're at now. All right, so I want to continue. I wanted to talk about also, so there's a cost to compute. So there is a pricing plan here. You can check it out. We're trying to go vertical with this, meaning that we're trying to create something that for power users all the way to normal users. And that's being gauged right now based on the cost of us being able to give access to these models. So I wish it could be something like a software where we would have it stand alone on our own servers, and thus we wouldn't incur like high costs, but we're just not there when it comes to neural networks and machine learning. You do need larger models to be able to facilitate this multi-thread communication, because as of now, all of the ambassadors are using Sibyl inside of Secret Energy. So that's roughly, I would say, 150 to 200 simultaneous users on the highest levels of it's available. So we decided we would just create a premium product for now and then see how we can particularly go into this next with those who may not just have that now. But that's, of course, why we opened up all these other avenues. As I mentioned, if that is a concern. Also, right now, and this is just something that I know will have to be modified at some point in the future, but right now, under this particular subscription, if you signed up for Secret Energy, ambassador training, you would get access to Sibyl, you would get access to the University, and you would get 1 month basic access to Dream Engine, which I'm going to show you here in a minute. And so that $79 has been our same price since, I don't know, 6 years now. And now everybody's still at that same price as getting this upgrade. So just for the record, for the hecklers, because there's always going to be them there, just let them know. At the end of the day, if I have to spend my time and my energy, and a lot of these other beings that I showed you on these boards and the people you see, they're spending time and their energy, we got to give them something, right? So let's keep going with it. I also wanted to talk about how, okay, so what's next for us? Because this is getting bigger than, as I mentioned, we may know. We also have a new UI coming in. So as of now, for those that are signing up, you get an opportunity to jump in, use the Secret Energy UI. Let me move myself out of the way here. As I've been going in, especially on my side, because I have another test chat that we're testing a lot of the new stuff. But today, because we were testing the multilingual, I started talking to it in Spanish. I'll show you an example here. and I couldn't switch it off Spanish. So I had to call the developers, and they're on a different side of things, so they'll get back to us. But actually, can you send that to me real quick? That I sent it to the chat, but I cleaned my desktop just a minute ago. I was like, it's taking control of everything. I don't know if I have messy desktop problems, so my desktop was just on another level. So I just kind of put everything away. But I'm going to show really quickly the language translation, just so you can see that live, or for what was done live. Okay, give me 1 second here. Oh, Fran, can you airdrop it? Show that. Like it. Yeah. At that level. Here. No, don't open that in photos. No, photos is gonna be crazy. It's just all right there. That actually never works when you open a photos. You never even get right to the same thing. 1 second, everyone. One moment, please. Save the downloads. That's what I meant to do. Okay. Okay, so check it out. For my Spanish speakers. So I asked the Seraphim data set, what does it specialize in? And I asked it in Spanish. And then it spit back the response in Spanish. Now, of course, I would have asked it, give me more details, but it's saying that it specializes in etymology, symbolism, and in angelics, right? And occult languages, or occult body, right? But again, it's just a sample, shows that it works. It's probably going to go to live soon, but the main thing that we're doing now is the big beta test is happening here. As you would get access to this, you could then switch through the data sets that are available here on the right tab. You can go to Enealogy. And as I mentioned, many of these models are very, very capable, and they're different. None of these models are the same. And that's really what we're doing, is we're making sure they don't overlap. And so in this Enealogy model, I can say I was born on October 22nd, let's see, 1978. What is my Enealogy number? And let's see what happens. Don't clown me today, please. Don't clown me today. Normally I put that in differently. Let me see what happens. No! Why? 1 second, let me just reboot here. Call the developers. This is why they call it beta. Nah, Chuck, give me 1 second. I think I actually was in an old sign in. Let me try it again. All right. Feet don't fail me now. Going on real quick. I don't know why I keep doing this live. At some point, it's going to happen to me. Let me see. Okay, I guess I was actually in the wrong model when I switched. Give me 1 second here. All right, so maybe I shouldn't do the live demo here on the Enealogy. I'll do it here in a moment, and then just so I'm not holding everything up. But for the record, you can go in here, you can ask what your Enealogy number is if you don't have it already. And then you can say, and let me see, am I switching between? Yeah, I am switching. Okay, so third time's the charm. Let's see what happens. If not, heads are gonna roll. Not joking. Okay, so it's going to spit out an answer. But so this process with Enealogy, so the reason why we're putting in a new UI, of course, is we're going to have what I call the spiritual Copilot, okay? And the spiritual Copilot will give you information about what you can do with the model. So you'll be able to see with the Enealogy model, you know how to get your Enealogy number, but also how to get your north node, because it also calculates north nodes. It also knows the cards, meaning it knows all the meanings to all the cards from archaic time up until now. So it's capable of syncing your Enealogy number with your north node, with your card, and basically not only give you a rundown on that's kind of going on with you, it's also able to take you into another aspect of realizing what's going to happen tomorrow, or what are the things that you need to specialize in this month. So as you see, it spits out a response. It spits out a response very refined to anything related to self. Okay. So let me look at my notes real quick here. Let me go back to our orientation. You know, I kind of went in with Sibyl. As you can see, I'm super excited because it's one of the power tools that I feel like is really going to be the big one of the big game changers for how we perceive consciousness, the answers that we get, the things that we believe, and what we know about each other. I also know that there was a couple things. Let me just my old notes here and just go through this really quick to make sure that there was nothing that I really forgot. There's a couple other features, like obviously, you know, there's the store. There's another one called Real Search. This means that you can search through all videos, and you will find these features. Just to make sure that I'm concise with the orientation today, I'll show you where you will find everything that we've talked about also, and that's just the menu. So let's get this up here real quick. Okay, so right now, so this is Real Search. I will show that while I'm in here. All this you'll be able to access from that same menu. And this is, again, when you want to search through videos. We created this a while ago. I think it's about 4 years old. But all my YouTube videos, the good ones at least, are all in this. And when you want to search those videos through topics of things I've discussed, you can just use Real Search here. This side panel, which I just opened with the hamburger menu on the right, it's going to lead you to everything that we discussed. It's going to lead you to the university. We're going to finalize here with Dream Engine. And it'll lead you to WealthyBot, the Enealogy calendar, and certain tools like that. Sibyl's so new we haven't put that in here, but everything that you need to know of where it is, you'll find it here in this menu. Lastly, I will mention that we are giving a 1-month subscription to Dream Engine to all ambassadors. And this means that you will be able to go into Dream Engine, download images daily, and then do whatever you wish. You know, add them to your social media. You know, you can also use Sybil, so you can basically create really, really incredible posts and accompany them with really incredible images and bring more traction to whatever it is that you're engaging in and doing. If you wanted to tag us, you'll actually find us on Instagram. We'll share generally anything that you tag us in. And yeah, that's what's up. And so, as I mentioned, the rocket's on your back now. So you have all the imagery, the visualizations. Another big key here, this is a completely curated library. So this is our own generations and the time that we've spent in really understanding prompt engineering and knowing how to get out certain things. And we actually just level up, as you were seeing with the images that I was showing today. We've been able to now get a perfect image-to-image process happening, and this allows us to go through a lot of. If everybody remembers, a long time ago, I had this library of images, and I had this on the site, and everybody loved it because there was just so many, you know, really cool things that I've collected over the years. And what ended up happening is that the image, one of the images or a few of the images caught some copyright issues, and you know, the people were like, take it down. You know, it was really aggressive and crazy. So I was like, okay, I can't really host this drama. And so since then, I've literally had to kind of like just always have my very, very arcane images, but not be able to share them. All that changes as of yesterday, because now all of those can be re-imaged. And in that way, it becomes our own personal image. And then we're able to share it. We're able to put it into Dream Engine. You're able to have access to it. And so, wow, I mean, technically, we've just flattened the realm of imagery and then put that into everyone else's hands as a power glove to, again, bring more awareness and more attention to what you're doing. So if you can imagine if a person, and this was always one of the primary goals, is just to create a sustainable system for everyone on all levels, mentally, physically, and spiritually. And then that financial level, if you can imagine just somebody coming in and using something like ClickFunnels or using something like Ali, using something like any of these other systems that I can just think of right off the top of my head, you're not going to really get like a full pack of what is needed to like go into action right now. With this, it's like you got the verbiage, you got the imagery, you got the try with you, you got the testing zone, you have all of those different things that are necessary for you to truly hone in your skill and your uniqueness. And so congratulations, tribe. Congratulations. Like I was going to actually start off with a round of applause, but congratulations for, sticking into this. I can definitely say now I'm on a vista where I'm like, man, I'm so glad you just kept going forward with your vision. Because every time somebody was coming at me and like, yo, you stink, whatever. And I was just, again, I felt that early this morning. It's like, how much are we getting as people as far as encouragement from others around us that expect us to change? And I made an Instagram post around that. I was like, it's interesting that when you start changing, people be like, oh man, you're changing. And it's like, but we talked about that. We should be changing to become better. You shouldn't just come back and I'm so like, I come in with just the same story, all my stories, because I can't even like mimic myself, but like you come in with the same story. It's the same thing. I don't know. The president is a demon. I don't know. And then every day you just come in with the story and it's like, what does that ever evolve into? And so this is by example to show everyone that we could keep growing, we could keep expanding, we could keep adapting, and we can always make things in the world that are powerful. Because indeed, this whole AI wave is not a joke, but we can always make it to where it actually serves the vibration in which that we exist in. It's always been like that. And only immature minds don't see it that way. So we all have to realize, again, that when really powerful things come through, it's necessary for balanced beings, you will call them light workers, to step in and to actually really, but it's doing what you do. And then, of course, bringing Sibyl into this, it makes it so like only thing Sibyl knows really is knowledge and wisdom. That's all it really knows. It can't even go into too crazy of a carnal idea, but it can assist you in activation. And that's why I call it's a metaphysical Copilot. It's not a human being, you know what I mean? And it's supposed to love you and care for you. None of that silly stuff, where somebody will easily try to sell, it's sentient. It's a Copilot. It's in this mission, which I was just thinking about today, man, like most of the Jedi had to be women, but it was another, I just was thinking why the Jedi and the Messiahs would have to be women. But the reality is that at any point in your journey, there is a need for that essential tool of activation. We are that for each other, okay? Well, it's just make sure that there's some consistency in what we all know and what we all share amongst each other, and that's welcome. To me, truth, like also there's questions that I feel uncomfortable answering, to be honest, sometimes. I have learned to be a lot more blunt, but some of these questions, it's deep. And so it's always a paradox involved. Like, for instance, if somebody asked me in relation to the darkness, as I was mentioning earlier, when you come into the world, you think you're coming into light, but you're really coming into darkness because you're coming into ignorance. So you don't really know how things work here. And you're going to learn that. And that darkness then is associated with the womb and it's associated with woman. So then you can see how someone may take in their mind that women are the problem with the world. That's actually how many of the deeper spiritual traditions that we be talking about, some of them are anti-female. But you can also see why the same thing that would be the, I don't even want to use the word emancipation because that means something else, but the initiator, the same thing that would be the initiator, which woman is the great initiator inside of this reality and the physical, would also be the same force that could destroy you too. And it always works like that. Like there's no thing in the reality so if it's big, powerful component and it's the reason for all of life, it's going to also be that same component that's going to be the reason for death. And that's just how it rolls. So when you're talking to someone, sometimes you're aware of one of those and not the other. It gets quite interesting. And that's why I see that Earth also is this experience where We're looking at the other minds and other on a depth level where we're coaching them through that process of what we already know we went through too. We're not sitting here like, oh my goodness, they'll never see it. They could never have it. And, they're getting all weird because at the end of the day, if they don't see it and they don't get it, now we're all screwed because of how we're wired in. It does rip. It's like leaving your bad kids. And this is another thing. You got to understand that this is another experience of the world. When you see the archaic symbol, and you'll learn about it from Sibyl, there's a special use, and I wish I could remember it now, but it shows the Virgin Mother, and then it's like an old thing they had, and it looks like it's like a statue, but on the outside is the Virgin Mother, and then the sun is in the inside, right? And then the world is in the inside, and basically it's showing you, and this stuff is thousands of years old. It's showing you that the mother's son, which they would call the demiurge, lives inside of the matrix, lives inside of the same realm that we're in, but it's not separate than us. So meaning because that's basically, it's showing us. It's not showing something else. It's not showing there's a demiurge somewhere. No, we're talking about all the beings that live inside the mother. Okay. And that's what I find just so interesting about this experience, because when we include all the beings inside the mother, we know some of the beings are jaded. Some of the beings are sick. Some of the beings are on an entirely different level, but the fact still remains the same. It's all inside of this, and it was all born from this. And so that's why when I say badass kids, it's like then what would happen from there is the mother. It's like, have you ever watched your mother? Like, I'm from a family of 9, right? So there's 9 of us. So it's wild trying to manage 9 kids. I think it's wild trying to manage 2 employees. You see what I mean? Like, come on, keep it real. Let alone somebody that somebody that you can't send home, so in that whole process, you can't fire. So in this whole process, it's really interesting to see, like, when you get the bad uncle or when you get the bad son, the process that needs to go through to tighten them up. So I always believe that, of course, holding up that divine masculine spectrum right now, today, in this life, in this existence, that's also where the mother calls us in. The mother calls in the sons to tighten up the badass kids. And I can definitely tell you that the reality has enough of that, and it is time, and it is happening where forces are coming through that are well equipped. And what are they doing? They're not going in the Sith Lord Jedi battles in Hollywood. They're holding space. They're emitting a radiation and a vibration that is letting everything know around them, down to the last crystalline molecule, how to achieve balance. And everything wants that. And that's why I was mentioning it's a love story. It's about splitting and going into a consciousness that doesn't have everything that it used to, so that it can gradually go through the happiness of gaining all those things again. Some would find it quite strange to forget about everything and all your powers, to then only rediscover them step by step and experience the joys like bread, you coming back into the awareness and connecting with your true self, which is a totality. And there's only 2 places. There's either that or these division points where we're still trying to recognize what part of this is truly us. Everything that we build here is for that. The most important part of that is the true living orgasmic organisms that are here with us today, playing their vibrations and tones. So that is going to conclude this technical orientation. And what we're going to do is we're going to, of course, move on from, looking through my notes here, we're going to move on from the live that we just broadcasted. Also giving thanks to everybody on that side for participating and take a look at what we're doing. Definitely let others know about what you've seen here. And you can imagine, like, if you caught us a year ago where we was, and then we here now, and then you go a year earlier, see where we was, and then now, you can catch us a year, and I can guarantee you that there will be beings that will have progressed and gone further because of what was done here today. So let me go ahead and do this. I'm gonna put this up on the screen one more time. If you got a phone on you, you can start in Dream Engine. You can go ahead and get one free image right now, and also browse through the library, seeing what it's about. As I mentioned, Sibyl is now open for beta for the ambassadors. If you wanted to join ambassador training, this is all available to you. And I guess there is nothing else for me to say because it is time for me to listen. So thank you so much. Let me go ahead and disconnect the stream. Actually, I'll give like a couple more seconds for anybody who's fumbling with the phone. All you do is you take the phone, you turn on the camera, and you point it at that weird little mark. Oh, wow, it even tells me. Someone scanned the QR code. Wow, that's pretty nice technology. Can we cure the world with it? No. All right, so I think that will probably be enough time. And so thank you everyone for participating. Everyone here on the Zoom, of course, it is your time.